Hi guys, welcome to week 6 of our online learning. I hope you guys are hanging in there and doing well. I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you for all of the hard work you're doing. I know this is different, but we're getting there. And just know that I'm very thankful for each of you. This video is going to be about the math for this week, and this video is going to cover all 3 lessons. So rather than me breaking it up, I'm going to spend most of the time talking about the area one, and then a couple minutes talking about, and I'm actually going to start with them, the 2 practice lessons, because the 2 practice lessons are much easier, I think, more of a review for you, but I do think it's important to go over them. So the first one I'm going to go over is in this lesson called Practice, Multiply, and Divide Within 100. So you guys have already done a couple, and we did this in class through the 11s, all of our times tables. So this lesson is really just practicing your facts. It's a quick way to go through and know 3 times 3, 5 times 7, the ones that you should know. This one is dividing. And these are ones that we did not do super fast, rapid fire, but they should be very easy for you to find, because division and multiplication, I call them opposites. If you know your times tables, you know your division facts. And the reason why is because the relationship between the numbers stays the same, even though the story you're telling is different. So in this case, the story I'm telling, and I will switch over to blue. So the story I'm telling is that I start with 16. I break it into 4 rows. How many are in each row? If I know that 4 times 4 is equal to 16, then I already know my answer. The answer is 4 in this case. And I probably should have picked a different color, not blue. But you can just work backwards. So let me show you a different way as well. So let me do red. And let me put a 4 in here since I know that's my answer. If I need to move from left to right like this, 16 divided by 4 equals what? I really can also work it backwards and read the whole statement backwards. What times 4 equals 16? So that's another way to do it. Here is why, and I made a little chart for you. So anything that is a product is the answer to a multiplication question. So in this case, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 is the product here. It's the answer to a multiplication question. The quotient is how you pronounce that, quotient, and that is the answer to a division problem. But if you look at the numbers I did here, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So if I take my answer, my quotient, and times it by the divisor, the one that we are dividing by, here times this should get you back to this total. Okay, so division, we always have to start with the bigger number in this case, but it's the same fact family. So if you remember me talking about fact families, it's the same members of your family. It just depends on the order you put them in. So if you have 4 times 2, it's the same as 2 times 4. Doesn't matter the order. It's still the same. It equals 8, because that's because of the commutative property. With division, we have to put the big number first. We don't have a choice because we're splitting it up. It tells a different story. In this case, we start with 8, we split it into 2 groups, and we remain with 4. The same 3 numbers, it's just written in a different order. So in this case, I drew you a nice little number bond. You can do a triangle type of relationship. I like this visual because it shows you 8 divided by 2 is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8, and also 4 times 2 is 8. So you can make your little number bonds like this to help you with that kind of a question. So in this case, let me wipe it clean. I could draw a number bond that would look something like this. Let's do pink. It would be 16 at the top. A 4 times something equals 16. 16 split into 4 is what? So I know that my answer goes here. And if I know my times tables, I know that 4 is the right answer. If I don't remember it, I can try, and trial and error is what it's called. So you would do 4 times 3. Does that equal 16? No. 4 times 5. Does that equal 16? No. So then you know it's right there in the middle. Okay. So with this lesson, just make sure it's kind of trial and error, but you're also just reversing your math facts, if that makes sense. So I'll stop with that lesson. The next lesson is the more multiplication and addition problems. So these are the more. These are just word problems, and it does read it to you. So I don't want reading to be an issue with your math score. If you're not a strong reader, just click this little sound button and it will read it to you. So we have this girl, Michaela. She plants 4 rows of radishes and each row has 5. This was just an example from the quiz because a lot of the questions were very similar. They're talking about rows of. So how many rows of something? It's basically just an array. And here you are. They even give you a little multiplication equation for you. If you want to choose the tool, you can. I thought this was cool. You can do counters. So you can count 4 rows of 5 in each. So then you would go to the next row. I think it lets you go to the next row. And you would do another, I don't know how to do that. But yeah, you can play around with it.
Do you want to clear all your work?
Sure, I'll clear it all. So you're basically doing 4 rows of 5. And if I draw them, it's the same thing. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and I'm doing 4 rows. Kind of like when you bake cookies, you put them on a cookie sheet. That's how I bake cookies. I make them in perfect little rows like an array. So that's your array. You just tell me what is it equal to. When in doubt, draw a picture, grab a sheet of paper, make an array. Rows of, just remember, it doesn't really matter if you're doing like which one comes first, which one comes second, 5 times 4, 4 times 5. It's the commutative property, so it doesn't matter which order, okay? Either one will get you the right answer. If they give you the total first, like Michaela plants 20 radishes total, and she has 4 rows, how many in each row? That's division. They give you the total first, 20, split it into 4, and your answer would be 5. So it's the same relationship, just depends on what you're doing. Are you figuring out the pieces that go into the big number, or are you trying to figure out the big number? Hopefully this is making sense. I'm not confusing you more, but you should catch my drift because we did go over this in class. All right, the last lesson I'm going to talk about is area. I did an area video last week, so if you want to go check out my YouTube channel, I have nobody on there. So I've seen you guys have viewed it, but I'm not like YouTube famous. Like I know you guys love your YouTube people. But they're just videos. I did make an area one. It's in the Google Classroom. It's also on Class Tag. You can find it on YouTube on my channel if you want to go back. But this is just an added review, and there's like 1 or 2 extra steps this week that they're having you do with the area. So I wanted to go through that. So this one is talking about Oscar. And I'm choosing to go over this one because it's a large number. It's the number 12, which we don't know our 12's facts. So we are going to rely on you. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to do it right in front of you. We're going to have to do a number bond like we always did the break apart strategy. So we're doing 12 times 4. So I'm going to go here. 12 times 4. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to do 12. Whoops. I'm going to draw a 12 times 4. And I am going to break up this 12 into 2 numbers that add together to be 12. Because if I have that many, if I have 12 fours, it's the same as 10 fours and 2 fours. So that's the one I'm going to do. I'm going to do 10 fours and 2 fours because 10 plus 2 equals 12. So if I have 10 fours, that equals 40. And if I have another 2 4s after that, that equals 8. So 40 plus 8, my answer is 48. What? So there you go. I just gave you a free answer. But because I did a number bond, because I don't know my 12's facts. So I think that would probably be a little bit easier to do that way. Anytime they give you a number over 10, do a number bond. Absolutely. The break apart. I think it's great. I think it helps me as an adult, really. The next one I want to show you is the 2 shapes that fit into one. So this is not a perfect rectangle, and they go over this in the tutorial, like in the instructional part, but I wanted to walk you through it with myself as well. So if it comes up like this weird little JL shape that's not a perfect square, you're going to have to break it into 2 different shapes where it makes sense. So that's another thing that you'll have to have like spatial practice with, is figuring out where's the best way to cut that shape so that it makes sense. In this case, they're cutting it right here because you'll have a square and a square. So in order to find the total area of this, I need to find the area of the orange and the area of the blue and add them up. It's just like shapes, just like space that things take up, I should say. If I'm trying to figure out the space that my hand takes up, I could add up the space of all my fingers, add plus the palm, and I would equal the total hand. So in this case, we're adding up the pieces to give me the total picture. So 8 times 4, you should know what that is. If you don't, count by 4, skip count, Eureka, here we go. 4, 8, all the way up to 48 is the answer to that one. 3 times 2 is probably a little bit easier. You figure out the area of that one plus the area of this one, add them up. So if I want to draw even like a little picture for a nice little visual for you, I would draw shape A, and then I would draw shape B. And all you need to do is go A plus B. You add up the two shapes. That's it. It's really not that bad. So that's what you do for the ones that are funky little shapes. For example, we have another funky shape here. So if you are the geniuses like I know you are, you already know where I'm going to draw this line. To me, this little piece is sticking out. You can't see it, but I think this piece is like sticking out awkwardly. So I'm going to kind of chop it off and add and do the array kind of by itself. So I'm going to chop it off. I'm going to cut it right there because I don't like how it looks there, but it is the edge of the shape. So I have shape A and shape B. And all I need to do is add them together. That's it. A plus B. So you do just like we always have done, count across to save you time, times down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 times 7. And then this way, 2 times 4. So add them up. The two areas, tell me how many square feet that is. That is it. That one is not too difficult either. Once you cut it, you're like, oh, this is easy. No big deal. Same thing here. They wanted to make sure that you got it. So they have the area of the blue, 8 times 4. They even broke it down for you, equals 32. And then the area of the orange, 6 times 3 equals 18. So the total square feet is how much? You will have to add 32 plus 18. Now remember, when we were adding up numbers, you can do it one of two ways. You can do 32 plus 18, one on top of the other, just like that. 2 plus 8, you have to line up your tens and ones. So my ones column is 10, carry the 1, don't forget the 1, and that becomes a 50. Or you can do the TO, like we always have done in class 2, where you do a tens column, ones column. Bingo, bingo. And to parents, this is probably like a different language, but this is what we practiced in class. I'm just going over very, very basic so that everybody has a good shot at getting a good score on this. So if I'm doing 32 plus 18, I take my ones column, which is 8 plus 2. I take my tens column, which is 30 plus 10. 8 plus 2 equals 10. 30 plus 10 equals 40. And 40 plus 10 equals 50. So I do get the same answer regardless. Woo woo. So that is how you find area of multiple shapes. You just add up the area of blue, area of orange, gives you the total area. I hope you guys are doing well, and good luck on math. Rock it out this week. I have some new Kahoots on Google Classroom for you, so make sure you check those out, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.